Epic Universe may have only opened 6 months ago, but Universal, they are not done pouring gasoline on this bonfire of success. The park may have cost an estimated total of $7 billion, but already it looks like Universal, they're more than willing enough to add a few more $100 million to that price tag. Because it's happening, guys. The first Epic Universe expansion is coming soon. As of last week at the time of recording, sorry I'm a little late to the party on this one, Universal, they just filed a permit for utility and foundation work at Epic. Now, on the surface, this may not sound too substantial. After all, foundational and utility work is the basic catalyst to any construction project. The main difference, though, is that this construction project in particular is going to encompass a square footage of around 150,000 feet. That's not small potatoes. That is a substantial plot of land. To put that number into perspective, Epic Universe's flagship attraction and the most expensive attraction ever built is only around 140,000 square feet. So whatever this project is, it's going to be almost the equivalent size to a ride with a $1 billion price tag. That is massive. And apparently, to keep up with consistency, this ride, it potentially is also going to be another Harry Potter attraction. Could it be something else? Yeah, possibly it could be. This is just the dominant rumor. It is not finite. However, with that being said, I am inclined to believe this rumor. I do not doubt that Universal is working on another Harry Potter ride. The 1920s Paris land was built with the mindset of future expansion, and it just so happens that the expansion pad right behind the land meets the spatial criteria of 150,000 square feet. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter if we're right or wrong about this Harry Potter expansion right now, because we will get our answer within the next few months. This permit has an expiration date of May 7th of 2026, so unless Universal cancels or postpones the project, it is very likely that we will see this foundational work take form in the near or immediate future. Now, Epic Universe building a brand new attraction is exciting and all, but I have to address the elephant in the room. That being that this is yet again another Harry Potter ride. In fact, this would be Harry Potter attraction number 6 if we disregard Flight of the Hippogriff. Sorry to any Hippogriff fans, but I do not like to include holdovers from Merlin's Wood. Regardless though, how could Universal be building another Harry Potter attraction within the Orlando Resort Complex? Isn't there enough Harry Potter already? Is 5 rides and 3 lands not enough for Universal? They have to build another? Isn't it about time to give another franchise a spotlight? Instead of heavily divulging capital into the wizarding world of Harry Potter time and time again, most people, I would say, they're getting a little tired of Harry Potter. At least that's the discourse I see online. Whenever Universal announces anything to do with Harry Potter, most of the time, the announcement is greeted with eye rolls. Yet when the ride and or land opens, it is the most popular thing within the park. Ministry of Magic is consistently getting 3 to 4 hour wait times every single day at Epic. No other ride can get those wait times. Maybe Minecart, but only because the capacity is horrendous. So let me get this straight. If the general reaction to more Harry Potter is negative, then how come whenever Universal opens a new one, it gets more and more popular? Well, it's all really simple, really. It's because these rides are awesome. Harry Potter, without a doubt, is the best thing that Universal has ever done. They are my favorite theme park lands of all time. I love the Wizarding World, even though I have not seen most of the Harry Potter movies. I've only gotten through Sorcerer's Stone, and then I completely dropped off the franchise. As I keep saying, I'll hopefully get around to the rest of them, but, oh man, there are just so many movies. But even though I am not an avid Harry Potter fan, I can still thoroughly love and enjoy the Harry Potter lands on their own. I love these lands so much so that I would position myself in the camp of people who would want to see more Harry Potter editions. Yeah, the non-Harry Potter fan wants to see more Harry Potter. Can you believe it? And can you really blame me? Universal hasn't built a bad Harry Potter land yet. They haven't even built a bad Harry Potter ride yet. So why give up? If the rides are still popular and people keep waiting for them, then why in God's name should Universal stop? The fine executives at Universal, they are masterminds at identifying what works well at their properties. They strike when the iron is hot. If they see that a Harry Potter ride is getting a 10-hour wait on opening day, and then a 90-plus minute wait every single day, 6 years after the ride's debut, they're not going to stop there, and why should they? If interest is still high, then they should build another ride, and then another after that, and then keep going until there's absolutely no more interest. It's kind of like the movie sequel method, where if certain films are consistently bringing in billions of dollars of cash at the box office, then there's not much of a desire to stop production of these movies until you start seeing diminishing returns. The best example of this in practice is probably the Jurassic Park franchise, or Toy Story, but in Jurassic Park's case, the sequels, they may be of questionable quality, however, each movie consistently brings in $1 billion. So it doesn't matter how bad they do critically, as long as they're a financial success. The difference, though, between the Jurassic Park movies and the Harry Potter lands is that the lands are actually good. People will consistently go to Universal and keep coming back to the Harry Potter lands, compared to the Jurassic World movies, where I will maybe go see it in theaters and then completely forget about it afterwards. Even if there's a population of the public who is getting tired of the Harry Potter rides and lands, it doesn't matter because there is still a sizable group who still want to go to these lands and still want to wait for these rides for hours and hours at a time. This is all the justification Universal needs to add more Harry Potter. In fact, I don't believe that this 150,000 square foot edition will be the last of Harry Potter. There could very well be another Harry Potter ride coming after this one, which is crazy to think about because realistically, how much more can you do with Harry Potter? There is a limit to how much source material Universal has to work with. After all, there are only 7 Harry Potter books and 8 movies, and Universal has already adapted most of the filming locations. Hogsmeade and Hogwarts Castle has already been built. Diagon Alley, it also exists. Even minute filming locations like 1920s Paris, which was a part of the spin-off Fantastic Beasts franchise, has also already been adapted, with the Ministry of Magic tacked onto it. So if Universal really wanted to build more Harry Potter, what more could they do? Are they going to recreate the Burrows or Malfoy Manor? If they do, they are really grasping at straws, because who cares about the minor settings? The public only cares about the big filming locations, and those have already been done. Any new addition to Harry Potter will have to be within the existing lands, which is why we're seeing this 150,000 square foot attraction being built right outside 1920s Paris. But even so, what more can you do with those new experiences? So far, the biggest rumor for this new Harry Potter edition is that it's going to be a broomstick attraction, something that potentially involves Quidditch, I assume. Now, what's interesting about this choice is that it's not the first time Universal has explored a broomstick ride. This concept actually goes far back. Originally, this was supposed to be a second phase expansion to Diagon Alley over at Studios. Thankfully though, that did not happen. Let's just say that this first iteration of this broomstick ride would have been really puny. You know Flight of Passage over at Pandora, the World of Avatar? Yeah, that's basically what this broomstick ride would have been. A simulator. Now, I'm a Flight of Passage fan, I do like that ride, but I'd be lying if I said that I wanted this to come over to Universal, because I don't. I'm tired of simulators. I don't like stationary attractions where you're jostled back and forth while you watch TV. So if this was the original incarnation of the broomstick ride, then I'm thankful for Universal for scrapping it. Now, whatever this new ride does end up being, I really hope that it lives up to the other Harry Potter attractions, not only in terms of quality, but also in terms of technological advancements. Universal has a deep pride for their Harry Potter rides, and that is in part due to how much research and development they do for them. Every one of these rides is a first for Universal. Forbidden Journey, that was the first ride to incorporate a Kuka arm. Escape from Gringotts, first roller coaster screen hybrid that incorporated rotating trains. Hagrid's, first time Universal used a drop track and backward switch track. Ministry of Magic, first of its kind elevator type ride that utilizes a track and hydraulic lift. And Broomsticks, we don't know what this ride is going to be yet, but we can get a pretty good idea. Universal, they've cycled through their fair share of patents for this ride, originally starting off as, of course, the VR/simulator idea, and then later evolving into this funky concept, where it appears that the passengers board the broomsticks like a motorbike, as the main hull of the vehicle is hooked up to a large frame connected by large cables. These cables presumably are able to oscillate the ride vehicle up and down, while also tilting the ride vehicle in every degree of freedom, while also being hooked up to a ride track that can translate the broomsticks from room to room. This ride system, it's not a bad idea, however, I do fear that it's too similar in nature to Ministry of Magic. This technology, it's very similar to how Ministry operates, except for two key differences. For one, instead of being level to the floor, the ride is level to the ceiling, so it's a suspended ride system. And the second difference deals with how the riders are oriented. Here, the riders aren't positioned in a traditional seating arrangement. Instead of sitting upright, you're straddling your legs like you're riding a motorcycle. But other than this ride being somewhat similar in execution, I will still say that this ride system is acceptable. Unfortunately though, these patents are pretty old. In fact, this one was dated all the way back in 2018. So who knows if Universal would even use this concept anymore, or if they would just use it as a jumping off point for a similar attraction. Hopefully though, no matter what this ride ends up being, it will live up to its predecessors. And I guarantee that if it does succeed, and it receives all the positivity that rides like Ministry has gotten, then I 100% see Universal building another Harry Potter attraction right after this one. I don't see Universal quitting on Harry Potter anytime soon. And if Universal's track record is anything to go by, then the next Harry Potter attraction after this one will only be 4 to 5 years down the road. Because oh boy, it's incredible that Universal has been able to continuously expand Harry Potter within a 4 to 5 year timeline. I mean, just look at the data. Hogsmeade in 2010, Diagon Alley 2014, Hagrid's 2019, and now Ministry in 2025. But originally, it was supposed to open in 2023, if it wasn't for, you know, the virus. And now we have Broomsticks, which I assume will open at the earliest in 2029. If there were to be another Harry Potter expansion after this one, I assume it would likely be built right next to Diagon Alley, depending on if Universal doesn't use the land around Diagon Alley. Again, the original idea of a Broomstick VR attraction was originally supposed to be built on top of the Fear Factor plot of land, until the entire thing got cancelled and shelved. So if Universal doesn't get rid of the Fear Factor Stadium in the next, 5 years, then presumably the land will be used for a Diagon Alley expansion. And if not Fear Factor, the expansion would likely be allocated to Fast and Furious right next door. But again, this is all dependent on whether or not a different attraction will replace Fast and Furious in the coming years. And this, unfortunately, is more likely to happen, because if we look at our timeline, the soonest we would get a Harry Potter ride here after the Broomstick ride at Epic would be maybe 2033, which is 8 years away from now. 8 years is a long time to keep Fast and Furious or to keep the Fear Factor Stadium standing. It would be in Universal's best interest to remove these attractions as soon as possible so they can make room for a different ride. Unless they want to expedite the whole thing and build the Harry Potter ride even sooner. It's either they do this or that's the end of Harry Potter rides. Because besides a Diagon Alley expansion, I don't know where else they can put Harry Potter, and I don't know how they can build more Harry Potter. Again, what more can you do with the Harry Potter franchise? Perhaps they can do something with Azkaban. They haven't tapped into that well yet. The problem is, I don't see this ever working as a land on its own because Azkaban is just a giant triangle jutting into the sky. It's not meant to be whimsical and full of abstract architecture. It's supposed to be depressing and terrifying. It can maybe work as a ride by itself, but not a land. But anything other than Azkaban, Universal would have to go completely off script, away from J.K. Rowling's source material, in order to build any other Harry Potter ride. I don't see this ever happening unless we get another Fantastic Beasts situation, so in a roundabout way, we're back to Quidditch being the last Harry Potter ride. And to some of you, you may find that perfectly fine. Harry Potter has gotten its more than fair share of attention at Universal. It did not need to get 3 lands, it did not need to get 6 rides, but it did. Universal gave this franchise everything. So after Broomsticks, Universal can make the choice to either stop building Harry Potter and move on to a different franchise, or they can keep milking Harry Potter forever. If there is a will, there is a way. If the popularity keeps going up for Harry Potter, Universal is going to continue to capitalize off it. And if that new HBO Harry Potter show is as successful as the original movies were, I think Universal will be more than capable enough to add on to the Wizarding World.